This is a 10-minute core finisher that is supportive throughout your cycle and can be added to any other workout. So this is a great one if you have a workout that's on the shorter side, or maybe you have some energy left in the tank. Maybe you're just looking for a way to incorporate more deep core strength into your practice. This one will be the finisher for you. So we have 5 exercises. We're working them each for a minute. You're just moving continuously. So making quick transitions between exercises and working for a full minute. With those 5 exercises, you can complete a single round if you just want 5 minutes of quick core work, or you can complete a second round and stay with me for a full 10 minutes. We have our bird dog crunch, we have a dead bug, a reverse plank knee hug, our bear plank taps, and then a forearm plank reach. I'll walk you through all these exercises as we move through them. We've got a full 60 seconds in each one, so take your time, move slowly, and try to incorporate the breath. So these audible exhales through pursed lips to help draw the belly in and connect you to those deeper layers. I'll get our timer started. We'll have about 20 seconds to set up for our bird dog crunch. This one we're alternating sides, so you're going to come into your tabletop. I want you to activate the hands by pressing through the finger pads. Let your shoulders rest over your wrists and the hips are over the knees. Make sure you're not too far back or too far forward. We want that nice strong tabletop. We're going to lift opposite arm and opposite leg with a crunch. So we lift it up, keep the hips and shoulders level, curl knee to elbow without really changing the spine, and come back down. Switch. Nice and slow. Reach it out. Keep the arm and leg in parallel tracks, so we're not necessarily crossing the plane of the body. We're just keeping those two limbs moving parallel. You get a little bit of a curl in the lower spine at the end of that movement, but I want you to focus on keeping all other things stable, just working through here. That's the halfway mark. We will get ready to switch to our dead bug next. So you're going to roll over onto your back in about 20 seconds. But let's focus on this movement in the present, right here, right now. So we reach it out. Try not to arch your lower back as you reach, so you're keeping it level. Let's switch. Come onto your back, reverse tabletop. So same thing, imagine that you were in that tabletop on the floor. We're just going to reach opposite arm, opposite leg. So very similar mechanics here. We just have gravity we're working against in those leg extensions. I want you to pay attention to 2 points in space. So the points of your hips and the low ribs. Those 2 points in space, we want to magnetize them together, like you're trying to shorten that gap, but without rounding in the spine. We want to keep all things neutral, so that lower back arch is neutral. And we're just closing that gap. So bringing it together as we move through. Make sure your knees aren't hugging too close to the body. You want to be feeling that core engagement in the low belly through this entire movement. We'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Then we'll come up, reverse plank. So fingertips are facing your heels. Again, wrists are directly under the shoulders. We're going to lift up either to upward table, or if it's available in your practice, you can lift to upward plank, and then we're hugging the knee in. That can create a lot of tension on the hamstrings and the knees. So by all means, if you need to, you're in upward table, just hugging. It's like that reverse crunch, pulling the knee in and marching it out. So you have the option again of extending the legs out. It's going to require a lot of hamstring activation and strength. Keep pressing through the finger pads so you've got that nice alignment of the shoulders over the wrists. We're not letting the hips collapse down. We're staying in it. This one, so much harder than it appears on the surface. We're going to flip over in 3 to our bear plank. 2 and 1. Come down. Quick transition to bear plank. I want you to hover the knees. We're just going to tap a shoulder and tap a shoulder. Notice how nothing is moving except that hand to the opposite shoulder. So you've got hips and shoulders level. You're not letting the shoulders rotate. We're not hiking the hips up or down, and I want you to pull that low belly in. So I start to feel this, and by about this point in a core finisher where my belly's getting tired, but I want you not to collapse down. Keep it hugging in. Last one, and actually that was halfway. Excuse me. We'll keep going. I have my timer set a little differently today to notify me at the halfway point. So I'm habitually conditioned to hear that timer and want to switch. But today we've got a little bit longer. Here it is. 3, 2, and 1. Come into your forearm plank. Keep the hips nice and low. We're going to reach with the fingers and come back. Reach. As you reach, notice the tendency to want to pop the hips open. Keep them nice and level. Keep the neck relaxed. So I want you not to shrug the shoulders as you get tired. We want to keep that lower back strong so you're not letting the low belly collapse or drop down. That was the halfway mark. Got just a little ways to go. And then you have the option of closing it out there, calling it at the 5-minute mark, or we can begin a second round. If you're staying with me for a second round, we're coming into our bird dog crunch next. Last 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come up. Reset your position and let's begin. Reach it out, curl it in, nice and slow, and back. I want you to lengthen your exhale through pursed lips for that entire pull inward. Give it some sound. That'll help you connect more deeply and pull the energy to the midline. I want you to feel the balance between radiating outward in both directions and then hugging energy all the way to the center, out and return. Take your time here. Let there be no rush. We're here for about 5 more seconds. Pull it in and return. Lower onto your back. So we're doing the same thing now, but in the dead bug position. So upward table, we're reaching out and in. Again, pay attention to the curves in your low spine. Make sure that you're hugging the pubic bone up toward the navel. You should feel that fire the low belly right away. So I can always tell if I'm checked out in that deep core by just curling the pubic bone ever so slightly toward your belly button. And you should feel all kinds of things firing in the low belly. So that's a good self-check as you move through these dead bugs. If the leg extension is too much, you could be in heel taps. So you might just be tapping one heel and then the other. We absolutely don't want any strain in the lower back. So if that leg extension is producing lower back strain, just take it down. No sweat. Let's come up now into your upward plank. I'm going to take this from upward table. Hamstrings really feeling that last one. So we march. We hug the knee in and take it down. Hug it in and back down. So I want you to keep the hips elevated, the same place the entire time. So we're not letting them drop down in between reps. We're keeping that lift. I want you to feel the stretch across the chest by pressing into your finger pads. So this is our reverse table. Knee lifts. I want you to imagine drawing the knee toward your chest rather than curling the chest toward your knee. So all that work happening from the low belly and the hip flexors. We're here for just a few more reps. Finish it strong, and then we'll come into our bear taps. Lower down, make your quick transition, maybe shake out the wrists once or twice, and then come into your bear plank. So hover the knees just off the mat. Common misconception is that you're up here. Your knees are still grazing the floor. They're just barely lifted up. That's going to help you keep that strong core activation. Try your hardest not to let shoulders and hips move. It's just that tap and tap. We got this. 30 more seconds. We are so close to the end. We have that final burner with the forearm plank reach in just about 20 seconds. This one might be firing the legs just a little bit. You might feel that in the quads. Keep the low belly drawing in. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Take just a quick shake of the arms, and then we're coming into forearm plank. Find your stable plank first, and then we reach. Come back, reach. So you're giving the weight from one side to the other. You should feel that little bit of tremble in the belly as you extend and create more tension on the core. You're transferring the weight, keeping things stable, not letting the shoulders or the hips twist. Underrated exercise right here. So much connection to the front side of the body, back side of the body's working. You really got all around core activation happening. Last few reps here. Reach it out and come back and rest. Slowly come down. Take a few rounds of cat-cow here just to release the spine. Exhale as you round the back, and then inhale, stretch it out. Really want you to drag the heels of the hands and the knees together so you feel that stretch across the front body and round it in. You can shake your hips side to side, just lengthen the sides of the waist. So we created a ton of intentional contraction in the belly. Now we want to return things to that resting length. When you're ready, step your feet to your hands. Slowly come up, one position at a time. That is your core finisher for today. I encourage you to follow that up with a cool down, something to just elongate the front body to kind of reconnect to the back body so that you leave things feeling grounded, feeling balanced, and ready to go for the rest of your day. So thank you for joining me. We will head into the cool down next.